I will continue with the RF test capabilities of the NanoBeacon Evaluation Kit and Config Tool with a demonstration of how to measure harmonics. So for harmonics, we can again use the RF test section and the carrier test. So the carrier continuously puts out the sine wave at RF. So I'll start up that test again, and you can see a peak has come up at 2402 megahertz as specified by the frequency selection in the GUI. And I have a wider span now. So this is centered at 2402 with a span of 2 gigahertz. So you see some of the reference spurs around the center tone, and even some noise coming from the environment. And the key thing here is harmonics are typically checked at the highest power. So over at the hardware settings, I'm going to, well, if they're for a specific application, if the power is not going to exceed a certain value, it makes sense to test it at that value. But usually the most stringent test case is when the power is at its maximum. So I'll put it at 5 dBm and press apply. I see the peak of the peak power move up. And this particular instrument, the spectrum analyzer, has a measurement capability for harmonics built in. So I go to measurements, and there is a harmonic distortion setup. And very conveniently, the measurement gives out the harmonic, basically the harmonic content from 2402 is the main tone. So that has 3.11 dBm of power in it. And then the second harmonic at 4804 megahertz is minus 52.9 dBc. So that's roughly minus 50 dBm. And the third harmonic at roughly 7.2 gigahertz is minus 64 dBc. The fourth harmonic minus 64 dBc, and so on. You can see the harmonics power integrated in each of these bins, and only the higher power, let's say this is maybe the 8th harmonic, is about minus 50 dBm. So the key thing to take away here is if you're doing regulatory qualification, for example, for FCC, their limit is going to be roughly minus 41.5 dBm. So we see none of the harmonics even getting close to minus 41.5 dBm. There's 10 dB of margin in the second one, 20 dB of margin in the third and fourth and fifth, essentially, and a little bit less at some of the higher harmonics. So this is the key takeaway point for doing harmonic testing for regulatory with our evaluation kit and the NanoBeacon Config Tool. Thank you.